So Mount Precipice, right, which is at least no one was recording it, so we don't know if it was exactly here, but possibly. And it's the text in chapter 4 of the Gospel of Luke, where Jesus gives a sermon, and then after the sermon, they want to throw him off the precipice. And I was looking, if the video was here, yes, you can see what Jesus miraculously went through them. Because you can survive a fall, I guess, from here. One of the things that you will notice in that episode of the Gospel of Luke is that there is, the way that it's set up in that Gospel, it is the beginning of Jesus' ministry. It is the first sermon that Jesus gives. But when you go to the Gospel of Matthew, where is the first sermon that Jesus gives? The Sermon on the Mount, right? So each evangelist, through the way that God is guiding him, puts the initial sermon of Jesus at different places. That's not a contradiction, that's just perspective, historical perspective. But one thing that is interesting is, as we're gonna see tomorrow, when we start talking on the Sermon on the Mount, is that the Beatitudes of the Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the poor, so on and so on, all of that is coming from Isaiah, especially Isaiah 61. And the sermon in Luke that kicks off his ministry, according to Luke, also comes from Isaiah 61. And that is when Jesus goes and the attendant gives him the scroll, and what that is. The attendant gives him.
Firing range, don't worry.
Yeah.
You can actually pay to go there and shoot off through bullets.
Okay. So the Isaiah 61 is a scroll given to him, and he reads it, and it's what is that text? The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, and so on and so on. And that, of course, is an eschatological text, right? It's a prophetic passage from the Old Testament that when Messiah would come, when God's kingdom would come, that all these things would happen. And then Jesus closes, or not closes, but rolls back the scroll, and He says, today, this is fulfilled in your presence. So that links up with Jesus' statements in the Sermon on the Mount when He says, you heard that it was said, but I say to you. So in both places, it's very Christological. It is He who says when the kingdom of God is here. Prior to that, in the Gospel of Luke, prior to the Mount of Precipice, He has been healing and He has been teaching. And so now He says, today, in your hearing, this has come to fulfillment. And of course, we know that no prophet has honor in his own place. They reject him because he quotes, they don't believe him. They have hard hearts. They don't believe him. And so he talks about how during the time of Elijah, there were many Gentiles who received the word of the Lord, and many Israelites who did not. So that was very offensive, and they want to throw him off the cliff. Which is a foreshadow of what will happen to Jesus, of course, in Jerusalem. One thing to think about, and I'll leave you with this, that we'll pick back up with in the Sermon on the Mount. How can Jesus have said today this fulfillment, the healing of the broken heart, the forgiveness of sins, the sight to the blind, which in many ways was happening literally, right? He was giving sight to the blind, healing those with diseases. And then, how could He say that today that has been fulfilled? Well, He can say that because He did it, right? He did all those things. But what does that mean for a Christian today? Because many of us are ill. Many of us have broken hearts. We are forgiven, and we have peace, but oftentimes we don't feel that. So what is the meaning of that? How can a Christian be blessed by what Jesus said? Remember also the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who hunger. Just what does that mean? You would think that if you're blessed, that everything that is difficult will go away. Yet Jesus tells them that they're blessed despite their reality, despite the reality that they're living in. So just what does that mean for us? It's something to think about, and we'll pick that up tomorrow. So yeah, that's it.